Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. All I can say is wow. But before I get into my review, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I summarize and review the latest Kapımı episodes, say what I like, what I didn't like, what I think might happen next. If you like these kinds of videos, like, comment, share, but most importantly subscribe so we can meet on a weekly basis. As always, let's talk a little bit about the other storylines before we dive into the Eda and Serkan storyline. First we have Erdem and Fifi. At first I thought he was quite annoying, but now seeing him waiting for Fifi at the restaurant, I was like, oh my god, he's really trying to impress Fifi and she's so hard to get for him. That's why he kind of made a fake profile, even though it's him writing those messages and him telling her all those things. And I had to laugh because Melek was the first one to kind of see that Erdem was actually messaging Fifi. It was hilarious because at first Erdem was somewhere else, like away from the girls, so he can message Fifi, and then the girls told him to come and he put his phone on the table and Fifi was constantly messaging him and then he couldn't answer her because he was sitting there. Then Fifi was like, why is he not answering anymore? And he was panicking on the inside, and then Melek saw that when Fifi put her phone away, Erdem got a message, so that meant that Fifi was messaging Erdem, and then she kind of took the phone off the table so she can kind of protect Erdem. And it was just so adorable because she took over and sent Fifi the message that they should meet up, and Fifi was like, okay, no problem. And then Erdem waiting there at the restaurant with the flowers but dressed all in black. It was so weird seeing him dressed like that, and then Fifi coming, seeing Erdem messaging that person, seeing that Erdem got the message and he told her that he's already there, and then she was like, oh no, it is Erdem. And I feel so bad for him because I think that she will kind of ghost him or maybe be kind of rude to him, so I feel really sorry for Erdem. And then him being all nervous waiting there, I don't know, it was just very adorable for me. Then we have Pırıl and Engin, because the actor Anil broke it. No, did he break his foot? I don't know, he had a cast on and then he needed like an operation or something. I don't know what was the problem there, but he was absent from filming, so that's why they kind of incorporated that into the storyline and said that he was in Qatar or somewhere and nobody could get a hold of him. And then towards the end of the episode he called Pırıl and she kind of admitted to him that she was missing him, and I thought it was quite adorable. Then we have a slight bond between Ferit and Ceren, and Celine being kind of jealous because she still has feelings for Ferit even after what he's done to her. And then seeing him and Ceren being all nice together, Ceren touching his shoulder, like they were kind of close because this incident of him having a panic attack, her rescuing him, kind of, it formed a bond between them, like this secret. So you could really see Celine's feelings being hurt and her being kind of jealous. But then Pırıl comes and tells her that Ceren is actually a very nice girl and that she's very unsuccessful with men, so don't worry about her, there's nothing between them, just she's a very nice girl. When Melek kind of confessed to the girls that she's liking Celine because Celine is a nice person, they were kind of shocked and surprised for her to say that because Celine only has 5% shares in the holding, as we found out in this episode. She also wants to quit to keep a distance from Serkan, so she packed all those things up. I don't know if it's mistranslated or if I understood it wrong or I don't know what, but let me know in the comments if I'm right. Do the people from the holding, like the separate building where Celine and Alptekin were working, will they come to Art Life and work from there? It was like a day or two after the wedding, and Melek wasn't very concerned about her job. She was more concerned about Celine and how she's feeling, and you could really see that Celine was missing that she didn't really have that many real friends that care about her, and Melek was really the first person to ask her that or to offer help. And even Celine saying, I would love for you to stick around a little bit longer and stuff like that. I thought it was really adorable, and in this episode I really felt bad for Celine. I mean, I felt bad that in the last episode as well. But in this episode you could really see her pain and the fact that she disappeared because she wanted to be alone and then appeared in front of Serkan's door because she didn't know where else to go. Of course she wouldn't go back to Ferit, and the only other friend that she has is Serkan, and he kind of understands her, I believe. So that's why she went to him, and for her to open up and even tell him that she really stepped over her pride by waiting for him at the restaurant and him not coming because he tried to stop Eda from flying to Italy. It hurt her a lot, and because of that anger and sadness and disappointment, she acted on those emotions, and that's why she sold 45% of her shares. Anyways, she kind of opened up to Serkan and explained her situation, and Serkan was very understanding. At first, when she told him that she sold the shares to Efe, he was shocked. He was about to burst, about to get angry, but then seeing her in this state, in this situation, he kind of calmed down a bit because he kind of understood and could feel for her and why she acted the way she acted. So for him to be a very good friend, telling her to relax, don't worry about it, we have to get through this, you can stay here, you can relax, blah blah blah. I thought it was so nice of him. Right, going back to Celine and Ferit. So they have a face-off at Art Life because they have this huge meeting of the share transfer, and Celine couldn't bear to be in the same room as Ferit. Or before they actually have the face-off, Serkan tells Ferit that he made a mistake, and that's when Ferit goes after Celine. And then Ferit kind of telling her everything that he heard, the conversation between her and Serkan, and I was like, oh my god, like bombs are being dropped everywhere in this episode, and her remembering everything that she told Serkan. So she kind of understood where he's coming from, but at the same time it wasn't a whole move of him doing it at the wedding. So he apologized for breaking up with her at the wedding, but not for the fact of breaking up with her. She really wanted to show him that there's nothing with Serkan, and she even wanted to quit her job. She even sold her shares. So what else can she do to prove to Ferit that there's nothing with Serkan? Of course their childhood and their history will connect them, but one thing that I have to mention, those earrings she had in, like those horn things, one of them looked like it grew out of her ear. I didn't mind those dangly bits, totally fine. But the one growing out of her ear, it looked weird in my opinion. In this episode we have Celine and Serkan fighting together against Efe and kind of Ferit because Serkan needs Celine with her 5% shares to kind of overrule everything that Efe does. He also tells Efe that he wants to buy all those shares back. Efe is like, no, that wouldn't look too professional of me, and it relaxes me to know to be a part of a company that takes on such a big project of mine, and blah blah blah. So we have Celine and Serkan working together, even Serkan telling Celine that he can't do this without her, he really needs her, and they need to work as a team, and Celine accepts it. And then this little feud between Layla and Melek trying to be Efe's assistant, it was amazing. And then I also like the scene between Layla and Serkan where we find out that Layla had an operation like a year ago, and Serkan was the only one that really, not really the only one that called her and made sure she was alright, but the one that called the most, and also the one that paid for her sister's expenses. He also sent the best doctors to her. Like, she knows that there is a really soft heart within this really hard shell. Then, oh my god, then we have Aydan and Ayfer. It was hilarious because Alptekin really wants to get this burden off his chest and tell Serkan the truth about Eda and what he did in the past. He was about to tell Serkan, but before he could do that, Serkan got really angry because of what Celine did, and Alptekin was like, how was she able to do that? Like, why didn't we see that coming? And then Serkan loses it and tells him, I always told you not to do business with Ferit and you did it, blah blah blah. I told you to buy all those shares and to get all those shares and you didn't, and now we have this problem. So Serkan Serkan kind of telling Alptekin, I told you so, so now it's your fault kind of. And then Alptekin was kind of nervous, kind of admitting his fault. And then when he's about to tell Serkan the truth about Eda and what happened, he has trouble breathing. And then as soon as I saw him doing this with the left hand, like something that he couldn't feel it, I knew it's a heart attack. He will have a heart attack and he will land in the hospital. Like I said in my last review, that somebody will land in the hospital. So I felt so bad for Eda because you could really see her pain, her worry about what will happen to Alptekin, her wanting to go with him, support him, be by his side, but because of her anxiety she can't leave home. So I felt so bad for her, and really seeing her pain, it hurts so much. But anyways, what I actually want to say is the fact that Ayfer finds out from Eda that Alptekin is at the hospital. So Ayfer baked a cake, went to Eda and just wanted to make sure if everything is alright, how she's feeling, and if she needs anything that she can call Ayfer anytime she wants. You could really see that it meant a lot to Eda that Ayfer came and asked about her, because everybody was making sure if Alptekin was alright, but nobody asked her how she's doing, how she's dealing with the situation, and Ayfer was the first one. So maybe that's when the bond kind of started between them, but it got stronger when it was so hilarious, because Ayfer was like, we were so close, almost in-laws, or like the translation was matchmakers, but it didn't really make sense in my head, but I'm just using matchmakers now. So Ayfer was like, well, we were so close before and we were matchmakers, and then Eda is like, well, we have to continue playing it now that Eda and Serkan are back together. And Ayfer is like, no, it's just work. And Eda is like, no, they're back together, like for real. And then Ayfer loses it, and then it was just so hilarious, that back and forth. I laughed so much watching that scene, and then them trying to come up with a plan to break them off. So it was Ayfer trying to convince Eda to break up with Serkan, and Eda doing the same with Serkan, talking about Eda. It was actually the night, because Eda was dragging it along, not being able to tell Ayfer. Serkan was like, please tell her tonight, but Ayfer already knew from Eda. So when Ayfer saw that Eda came into the kitchen and put some lemon juice into the glass, she knew, okay, this is serious. She's going to talk about Serkan. And that's when Eda told her everything about Serkan, that they're together and they're in love and blah blah blah. And Ayfer really tried to convince her not to be with him, and told her that she doesn't want for Eda's dream to be a man, like she should dream of something else, not a man. And Serkan also telling Eda and Alptekin about his relationship with Eda, saying like the way he looked and being all smug and be like, there's no room for objections. And I had to smile a little bit, because you really have to see his facial expression when he said, we're together, we're in love, she's my girlfriend, blah blah blah. It was just amazing, because at the beginning of the episode, when Alptekin came from the wedding, Eda already had the news about the wedding being called off and what happened there, and she was all in shock, and she was like, well, now there's no obstacle between Serkan and Celine, blah blah blah. And that's when Alptekin told her that no, there's no need, because I saw Eda and Serkan together hugging, blah blah blah. And then Eda loses it, and because the plan they had before, so Eda talking to Serkan and Ayfer talking to Eda about breaking up with the other person, they kind of switch places. So now Ayfer will talk to Serkan and Eda will talk to Eda. So Eda, her plan was to kind of push this whole engagement on Eda, being like, yeah, you have to change, you have to represent me now that you're Serkan Bolat's girlfriend, blah blah blah. You have to change your style, you have to do this, you have to do that. Exactly what Eda doesn't want. So to be told that it's not good what she does, blah blah blah, she has to do this. But Eda accepted all of them. Eda was really expecting that reaction, so she was really disappointed that once again her plan didn't work out. And the same goes for Ayfer. So when Serkan wanted to pick up Eda to go somewhere, Ayfer was like, well, I want to say hello, blah blah blah. And then she invites Serkan in, and he of course accepts, because that's what he wanted all along. So then Ayfer sends Eda away just to have a heart-to-heart with Serkan, and then her telling him all the conditions she will accept their relationship, and she said something about Eda not being allowed to be late, and him always telling Ayfer where Eda is, and for him to let Eda go to Italy, and also for him to spend time with the girls like Celine and Fifi and Melek and with her. And she doesn't want Eda on social media, like in the news and on gossip sites. And it was a lot for Serkan, and he was really overwhelmed, but he accepted all those conditions. And even Ayfer was kind of surprised that he said yes to everything. And what I forgot to say is that Ayfer told Eda to represent her at those events that will be like high society events, and of course she will be in magazines. So the exact opposite what Ayfer told Serkan to do, like to keep her from the public eye, and Aydan telling Eda to go into the public eye. So I'm really interested to see how they will manage it, like Aydan telling Eda to go to an event, Eda wanting to go there, Serkan knowing that Ayfer doesn't accept their relationship if he lets her go to that event that will be in the news, pictures everywhere, so he will try to keep her from going, and she wants to make Aydan happy, so it will be chaotic. Yeah, is there anything else? I think now we can go to Eda and Serkan. So the episode starts with Ferit walking away, Serkan going after them, Eda wanting to go home because nobody's here, Ferit can't be found, Celine can't be found, she doesn't know where Serkan is, so she's about to go. Then appears Serkan, they talk a little bit, and Eda was kind of jealous. Like the first half of the episode, it was Eda being jealous of Celine, like when Serkan went after her to make sure if she's alright, but he couldn't find her. Then when Celine was at Serkan's place and Eda FaceTimed Serkan and Celine was in the background, that's when Eda was kind of jealous. Like she didn't want to show it, but you could really see that she was jealous. Then when Alptekin landed in the hospital and Celine was with Serkan at the hospital, and Eda told Serkan, tell me which hospital, I will come, and Serkan was like, no need to come. And then Celine comes and says that the doctor said that Serkan can go to Alptekin. Of course Eda hears Celine, so once again she's jealous that Serkan prefers Celine being by his side than his girlfriend Eda. And also at work when Serkan is telling Celine that he can't do this without her, blah blah blah, he really needs her. So that's also when Eda got jealous. But what I wanted to say is when they have this conversation, like Eda asking Serkan where Celine is, what is happening, blah blah blah, Alptekin is watching them, and I was so confused because wasn't that scene like him kind of spying on them? Wasn't it in the trailer for the last episode? So I was really confused, but I do think that it was in the trailer for episode 12 and not 13. So they kind of misled us in a way. Anyway, Serkan drives Eda home, and then they have this conversation about Ferit and Celine, like Eda asking Serkan how could he do that, and Serkan saying that he made a great mistake, and now Celine has a really hard time to get herself back together. And then Eda telling him that love isn't always enough, and Serkan being really confused and her not really answering, wanting to go, and then him telling her that he's so sick of this game that he wants to be official with her and she should tell Ayfer already because he doesn't want to play these games anymore, because he doesn't want to be so close yet so far, like physically close because they're working together, but far away in the sense of him not being able to touch her, to hug her, to take her hand, to kiss her, all those things. So of course it's hurting him a lot, and she even says it's the same for me. So I'm like, girl, why don't you tell Ayfer already? Then we have Eda telling the girls that she and Serkan are together and that they're in love, and all the girls are so excited, especially Melek. Like she was over the moon hearing the news that Eda and Serkan are together for real, and then them baking a cake, and it was really adorable to see this support that Eda has. Oh, what I forgot to say is that at the hospital, Alptekin told Serkan that Serkan should take over the holding, and that this was a sign for Alptekin now that he needs to spend more time with Aydan and less time stressing about work, blah blah blah, so he will give the reins to Serkan. And then he also wanted to start talking about this whole incident with Eda's parents, blah blah blah, but then the nurse came so he couldn't finish the story. And what I thought was really funny and adorable at the same time was when Aydan sent Seyfi to Alptekin to kind of make sure that everything is alright, to be there to FaceTime her. Like, she wanted to watch Alptekin 24/7. It was just so hilarious, but at the same time so adorable. And then also what I forgot to say, oh my god, like I forgot a lot of things to say. So Aydan really wanted to know all the nitty-gritty stuff about Eda, how she found Serkan, what happened with them, blah blah blah. So Seyfi should find out everything so she can have a plan how to get them separated. And before Alptekin landed in the hospital, they had a conversation, like him and Aydan talking about Eda, and Aydan being like, I don't know what to make out of Eda. Either she really is an angel or she is a really great actress and is good at avenging her family. Then we have this whole Efe art life Serkan thing. So Efe was kind of late and Serkan doesn't like people being late. He hated Efe from the beginning, but now him being late put another hatred on top of it. And when he finally appeared, I mean, can we talk about this hair? I talked about it in my last review, but all I could see was his hair. It is just horrible, 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 horrible. A couple of days ago, I saw the actor's Instagram page and he put a story up of him with short hair. So I really prayed to God that it wasn't like an old picture and the Celine Kapımı team and also that actor listened to the fans and cut his hair, because that hair doesn't suit him. Let's be honest, he looks way better with short hair. So I'm really interested to see when will this happen and if this short hair will kind of get him to make a move on Eda. So now he's just trying to get to know her, find out more things about her, what's between her and Serkan, blah blah blah. But then when he appears with short hair, maybe it will be like, let's go out for dinner, let's go out for a drink, let's spend more time on this project, blah blah blah, you know, like making a move. Anyways, it was just so awkward for me to see him having this motivational speech and being like, I'm Efe and I'm so excited to create with all of you, blah blah blah, just call me Efe, blah blah blah. It was just so hilarious, and seeing Serkan in the background rolling his eyes, not being impressed at all. And then when they talked about the shares and Serkan wanting the shares back, Efe told him, let's talk about this in 6 months. So I'm really interested to see if we will have in 2 months like a time jump of Eda being away in Italy, because oh my god, Efe, when he was working with Eda told him about Italy, and then he's like, oh my god, I have an office in Rome and you can come whenever you want, blah blah blah, almost offering her a job. And of course Eda being starstruck because he is her idol, and for him to say those things, it means the world to her, and Serkan hated every second of it. So yeah, what I wanted to say, so him saying let's talk about it in 6 months is kind of a hint for me that this series will continue for longer. Anyways, so like I already said, Eda had her jealous moments. Of course Serkan also had his jealous moments when he saw that Efe was so close to Eda, that Eda got along with him really well, and for her to tell Serkan that Efe is her idol, it really hurt Serkan's ego. You could really see that, and those looks and spying on her, you could really see him not liking Efe being there, and he was very territorial. And oh, what I forgot to say, like the first morning when they admitted their relationship to their parents and to Ayfak, when they went to art life, Serkan took Eda's hand and walked in like he was a man on a mission, and everybody was staring at them, and Serkan's look was like, you see right, we're together. together, blah blah blah. So it was just hilarious to see all those little things. Then we have Eda having kind of a down day where she didn't like Celine being so close to Serkan, and he kind of noticed that she was not her old self or happy self, and then she kind of tells him her thoughts that she's worried about Celine. That's when Serkan tells her that Celine is not getting between them, that it's pure business, blah blah blah, so don't worry about it, and how can he make sure that she's reassured, and how can he make it up to her. And she said, by talking to me, but then he gets called to somewhere else and she can't talk to him anymore. Three things that I forgot to mention. One was Serkan pushing Efe to take his office upstairs. Efe is like, no, I don't want to be up there because I want to feel the energy, to be with everybody here working together, blah blah blah. I would take that free table over there, so quite close to Eda. The second thing that I noticed was Alptekin getting discharged quite quickly, because when he went to the hospital, Ida had this dress with puffy sleeves, and then when he got discharged, she also had those puffy sleeves on. Or is it just my brain mixing things up? But I do think that Alptekin got discharged the same day, which was kind of... And then the third thing was, it was really funny when Serkan wanted to pick Eda up and they were about to kiss, but then Ayfer comes and interrupts them and invites Serkan upstairs. And also when Serkan goes, Eda wanted to go with him or say goodbye, and then Ayfer walks after them and says, well, I wanted to say goodnight, blah blah blah. Eda, don't you want to come inside? So kind of hinting, don't go with him. Then we also have Eda working with Efe, of course, him complimenting her talents, blah blah blah, them talking about Italy, Serkan hearing it, him getting really jealous, Eda wanting to show Serkan the plans and what she did, but he tells her that he has a lot to do, so please let's talk later. And then Eda is like, no, I want to talk now. He's like, okay. And then they start fighting about Italy, and then her telling him, you're not coming with me, are you, because your priorities are here? And he says yes and walks off. And I was like, what did just happen? He walks off. She doesn't know where he went. She goes to Layla. Layla kind of knows where, so she gives Eda the address. I really like that house. Like, this house looked amazing and the songs in the background were amazing. And then Eda coming by taxi and her just walking in and walking around, taking her jacket off or like blazer, and then her being in this kind of nest thing outside with those curtains, and him watching her and then coming to her and them not really talking and them being really close and about to kiss but not really kissing, and those curtains flowing around, and I was like, please let me have a peek. And then they kind of share a really tiny kiss and the camera just zooms out, and I was like, was that all? Was that all? Even in the trailer we got more action than we got in the episode. What is that? I didn't like that. I expected more. I wanted to see more. Anyways, the next morning they wake up and him telling her that he can't be without her, blah blah blah. Him telling her that he bought a house in Rome and also rented an office space, so for that period of time that she's in Rome he will also be there, blah blah blah, and her being really happy. Then we see Efe driving around having a conversation with a person we don't know, male or female. Him telling that person, I bought 45% shares in the holding and now you can come whenever you want. I was like, so he's actually working for somebody who wants to ruin Alptekin and Serkan. So the first thing that came to my mind was the grandma. She has connections in Italy. She's pretty rich. It wouldn't surprise me if she was behind all of that because she doesn't want Eda to be with Serkan, kind of. Maybe that's why. Because she knows what Alptekin did, so she's the person that wants to avenge her son or daughter. Oh my god, I just had a moment. It has to be the grandma. Anyways, we have Serkan driving Eda home, him getting home, Alptekin wanting to have a talk with him. That's when Alptekin starts talking about his career and that he worked with somebody who didn't use the proper materials and it wasn't really of high quality. Then he starts talking about this mistake he made and that construction, like the wall that collapsed and a family died and they had a little girl, and that's when it started rolling in Serkan's mind. Oh my god, please don't tell me it's Eda, please don't tell me. Alptekin getting really emotional, Serkan also getting really emotional, crying even when Alptekin gets more and more closer to the reveal of who that girl is. We even find out that Alptekin wanted to adopt Eda, but he couldn't find her. And then Alptekin's last words were, her name was Eda, and walks off. And Serkan is devastated, crying his eyes out. And I was like, oh my god, is this the end? Is this the end? It was the end. But thank god we got a trailer. A day late, but thank god we got a trailer. And I knew kind of after watching the previous episode and this episode, we got a lot of romance, and I know Turkish series, so as soon as we got a really high dose of romance, it would just dive down really deep. What we can see in the trailer is Eda being over the moon, on cloud 9, being all happy, giggly with the girls, talking about Serkan buying him a robot, them going to the movie, spending time together. It will be like a high, and then because at the end of the trailer we see Serkan being quite emotional, telling Eda, here our relationship started with a contract. Then we see Eda, tears streaming down her face, her being shocked, and I won't be surprised if this is the last scene and that's when she hears that Alptekin was the person behind the construction where her parents died. Is there anything else that I can say? Because I don't know what else to predict. I hope I said everything. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, I'm really sorry. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all those bombs and on this amazing episode. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Ring that bell to be notified whenever I post something, and I will see you next time. Bye!